1, 2, 3, funk it.
My darling, I love you, 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 I love you,
So what we're looking at here is a photo of my grandfather and his friends. Now, similar to me, my grandfather never really wore his proper uniform, so as you can see, he's the one on the far left. He's on the side of the page, side of the photo that is the most damaged, which is why I thought it would be a good one to have some practice on. The difficult spots here for me are going to be the large white rips in the photo, because I can fix small spots because it's easier to guess what that area would have looked like, but the larger the blemish, the larger the spot, the more kind of imagining I need to do and the more drawing I need to do, and I'm not an illustrator, so this is going to be a bit of a task. So I've scanned the image. I started off there just by cropping it, and the technique that I'm using right now is a really simple one. Is I really am just, there I am fixing his nose, by the way. I really am just taking the color from around the blemish and using the paintbrush to fill it in and paint it. As you see, the blemish there was too big for me to guess what was underneath, so I took the part of his eye that was good on the other side of his face and moved it over, but still kept what I could of the original eye. That's another thing you can do. With the nose, I did the exact same thing. So the left side of the nose was gone. I copied the right side, moved it over, morphed it and shaped it. Here is the same technique. So I've taken his friend's neck and because it was a similar shape, and I've moved it over and then used it to cover up the blemishes. These smaller parts, I'm using the fill tool. And the ear is something I just couldn't do because, again, I'm not an illustrator. So I've taken his friend's ear, or the one that looked the most similar, and I've morphed it and just reshaped that to fit the silhouette of what was left of his ear. After whatever happened to this photo happened. I think what had happened is someone had put something wet on top of it for years and then taken it off, but it's a pretty common type of damage that can happen to these old images. Now, God, shout out to my grandfather for wearing the most complicated pattern on a shirt. Ideally, you could draw the pattern back in, but I have no idea what it was, so I did the best I could. As you can see, it's quite messy because I used the fill tool. Right there, you can see me drawing it back in. And then I got started on his friends, just clearing it up a little bit. The overall photo is quite damaged, so I did what I could to soften that by, again, using the paint tool and just lowering the opacity. And just literally taking the color nearest to the blemish and painting over it. It's the exact same thing that I'm doing to his friends and their shirts. I'm getting rid of some of the wrinkles in the photograph. And also, this is the type of technique that I would use also if I was to, touch up somebody's image after a photo shoot. It's a very cheap and quick way of airbrushing, I guess. And then here I decided to take a bit of a artistic choice here, and I could have made it pure black and white, which is probably what it was when it was originally taken, but there's something about that sepia tone that I like, and that is quite remnant of a lot of Pacific Island and Samoan family portraits. So I decided to keep that because that style and that look is kind of my heritage, I guess.